'tis the season for glitter and glow. And that means 'tis the season for Natasha Denona's Holiday Edition 2017 Joya palette. And I'm rejoicing because this is a jewel of a palette. I know, it's a little nerdy, but actually Joya means jewel in Spanish, and for a child's name it means rejoicing. And how apropos, because listen, when it comes the holiday season, I am so into, I don't know, I just catch the glitter and glow vibes. It just happens. And this is all up my alley. In fact, check out the box. It makes me want to just eat it. And in fact, the hilarious thing is I kept it on my dining room table for a while, and every time I would pass it, I'd glance at it, I'm thinking, what is that Godiva chocolate bar sitting on my table? And then realizing it's a Natasha Denona's eyeshadow. It looks like a Godiva delicious chocolate bar, but it's even as good. Well, not better, because it's as good. They go head to head. Nobody's in competition with the other. And this is a beautiful palette, and I am so glad I was able to acquire this during the holiday season. Natasha Denona is known for her stupendous eyeshadows. I can vouch for it. I have a couple of her palettes already. I have her Lila palette, I have her 28 pan purple blue palette, and I have these 5 pan palettes, so I can attest to the fact that they are stupendous and they're very, very glowy. Let me give you the little deets on it. This of course is a 5 pan palette. Let me just open it for you because it's just delicious, and then maybe it won't. There's gonna be a lot of shine because this is very shiny. So this is a 5 pan palette. This is a holiday edition. It is limited edition, and she came out actually with 2 palettes. This is the Joya one, and then there's, I call it the blue one, the Aeris one. Now that Aeris one is a bad boy because I love that blue so much that I wasn't able to get it yet, so I ended up purchasing the Fenty Galaxy palette because it's got a very similar blue. It's not the same finish, but the eyeshadow itself is the color is a blue, and I'm all for it. So I said, in lieu of being able to get my Aeris yet, I got the Galaxy Fenty palette. So it's a bad boy. Now, okay, this is where people get a little all squirrely. It costs $48 because I get so excited, and then I go on a ramble. $61 Canadian. And people kind of get a little, you know, squirrely that it's a bit up there in price, but when you think about it, these eyeshadows are actually, each pan is 2.5 grams of product. And when you think about a normal pan in a palette is probably between 0.9 grams. In fact, this beautiful Marc Jacobs, and no shade to you, Marc Jacobs, because I love you, only has 0.7 grams of product in each pan, but generally it ranges from about 0.9 to 1.3 grams or 1.5, and this has got 2.5 grams of product in each pan. So in fact, you are getting in total 12.5 grams of eyeshadow here. And when you compare it to a Marc Jacobs, this is his holiday edition, you get 20 eyeshadows in here, but you're only getting 0.7 grams of product. So in total, you're only getting 16 grams of product for 20 eyeshadows, and you're getting 12.5 grams of product for 5 eyeshadows. So you can do the math, right? And if you want to think of it another way, if you divide 48 by 5, it costs you $9.60 per pan. Now, if you compare that with an Anastasia Beverly Hills single pan, they sell those for $12 US, and it goes up to $16 Canadian. And if you compare it to Makeup Geeks, which I love Makeup Geeks, I buy a lot of her shadows, they're amazing. Her foiled ones are $10, and these are $9.60 per pan. And on top of that, you are getting way more eyeshadow in here at 2.5 grams as opposed to the Makeup Geek, which is believe it's about 1.8 grams, and Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think it's about 1.5 to 1.7. Don't quote me on it. I didn't do my homework quite well with those. Now, the thing is, Natasha loves to give you a lot of product in her shadows. And I believe the reason why is because she is a very famous celebrity makeup artist that has turned into also a teacher of the arts. She has an amazing makeup school in Tel Aviv called the NATASHA DENONA Makeup Academy. On top of that, all her classes that are taught there are taught by Natasha Denona herself. I don't know how she does it. She's a makeup artist. She runs her beautiful, the whole glow line. I call it the glow line. I call her the glow queen. And because she has a very glowy aesthetic to her makeup. I just don't know how she does it. I think she's kind of like omnipresent. Her eyeshadow quality is stupendous, okay? I call her the glow queen for a reason. Her eyeshadows attest to it. I'm an eyeshadow lover. I love eyeshadows, so that's where I go to. And her eyeshadows are super pigmented. They are pressed pigment. So the wonderful thing about her eyeshadows as a result of being pressed pigment, if you know anything about like painting, pigments when you mix them together create all new colors. Natasha Denona's eyeshadows do that beautifully. They mix together very, very well to create new colors. I love hacking my colors with her eyeshadows because of that. They don't turn muddy, they don't turn browny. They create a whole bunch of new and beautiful colors because of those pressed pigments. Also, her famous chroma crystals, like this one is a chroma crystal. In her old one, this one is a chroma crystal right there, true gold. And those are chroma crystal glitter eyeshadows packed with glitter, and they are made from crushed pearls. So her products, and then also she doesn't use talc. She uses mica, which I believe is a better quality of to use because I think it has more of an iridescence to shine. Her eyeshadows are very dimensional. The mattes are like velvety, especially her newer mattes. They blend out like a dream. You do not have to be working your eyes out trying to blend anything out. They just blend out superbly, and they're made in Italy. So luxury brands, you find a lot of them are made in Italy, like Tom Ford, Charlotte Tilbury, another makeup artist, is made in Italy. So, and I believe these are not tested on animals, so it's a beautiful thing. Also, just to take a look at this beautiful new packaging, if I can make sure I don't get the glare on it. This is so beautiful. You get the legend at the back, and you get the see-through case, and it's a lot more luxurious and more compact, and with the rose gold. The glass is firmer, thicker. This gold is really firm, solid. If I can compare the two, this is the old version. The plastic is lighter, cheaper, and same with the back. Everybody used to complain about her original. These are her permanent line. They found that for a luxury brand, it wasn't that it wasn't, you know, that the packaging wasn't luxury, and I agree with that. I was quite surprised when I got it that the packaging seemed rather, you know, almost a drugstore, sorry to say, but almost drugstore. And then it has this weird slit in it, meant for what you think is a brush, but there was never a brush in there. So I'm so glad that Natasha has, you know, kind of brought in her packaging in line with her beautiful eyeshadows, because it does her eyeshadows justice. And apparently I believe she's going to be making the rest of her permanent line of 5 pans similar to this. Probably not in the rose gold, the holiday edition, but similar in packaging, which I think is a great thing. Now, I'm going to let you know there's something interesting about this packaging too, which reflects another change. Her permanent line, the pans do not come out of the 5-pan palettes. They do in the bigger palettes, the Star, I believe the Star, the Leela, the 28-pan palettes, they come out. But you do have, they're so kind of firmly in there that you do kind of have to use a strong magnet, one like from that you could get from, say, Inglot. You can go onto their site or go to the store and buy the strong magnet to remove the eyeshadow. So they're removable, replaceable, and the amazing thing is this is the same way. How I found out was there was another influencer was saying every time she swatches or puts it on, she could feel a kind of a jiggling, a looseness, and she didn't quite like that. She was a little bit perturbed. So when I thought I'd test it out, and sure enough, there's a little bit of a jiggle when you put your finger in it or you're using it. I noticed that jiggle, so I'm going, wait a second, let me see. That jiggle makes me feel that it might be just magnetized, because I remember Kylie's Royal Peach palette had that same jiggle, and it turned out that it was magnetized, so you could remove them. So I thought, let me just check, and this is the way you do it safely. Hopefully I might film a close-up of this, but I want to see whether I can get it here. So put your hand underneath, because it's a small pan, and just kind of whack it down. See, I hope you saw what I did. Let me do it again. See what I do? I'm gonna put my hand here, and then I'm gonna whack it down. Hopefully I can get a close-up of this. This is kind of awkward, but there we go. I got pretty much all of them. See, they all come out. The other way is, there is, actually I just discovered this now, there are holes on the back, and you can use a safety pin. You can use a safety pin, you can use a paper clip, you can use a push pin. See, I'm going to put it in the hole, but I'm not going to press because it easily puts out. So there you go, see? And there you go, you can remove your, very easy to remove your eyeshadows by pushing it in the hole, and it lifts right up. Pushing it all hole, lifts right up. Simple, simple. Either that, or you can just do this and whack it. But this is probably the safer way, just as long as you keep it upright when you do that and don't push it. It's hard because you think, oh, you have it upside down so you can see the holes, but make sure you have it right side up when you're pushing it in the hole so that you do not have your eyeshadow fall. Okay. If you can see, that's all a magnet right here. So they are magnetized, and so check this out. So I can easily put them in a magnetic eyeshadow palette, right? So if you want to, like, if you bought the full collection, you can take them out, make your own palette if you want to. Natasha didn't design them so that when you finish them, you can refill them. What am I trying to say? Refill them. However, of course, because this is a holiday edition, you won't be able to refill them with the same eyeshadows, but you can refill them with another Natasha Denona eyeshadow. Who knows? Hint, hint, Natasha. Maybe she will make them as singles. This is the premiere of Natasha Denona's new cream to powder formula. And when she mentioned it on Instagram, I kind of thought of the Super Shock shadows. And in fact, they're not quite like the Super Shock shadows because they're not spongy like the Super Shock shadows, and they don't have as wet a feel. But apparently they're cream to powder, and the whole premise for that is so that when it gets on the eye, it kind of locks down a little, not completely. It doesn't lock down completely, but it kind of like sets on the eye somewhat and keeps it in place so that the glitter and the beautiful stuff doesn't fall out, so you don't get any fallout. And the claim on the site says it claims 0 fallout after application. I originally thought when she said cream to powder that they were all going to be cream to powder in the holiday palettes, but apparently for the Joya one, when I look on Beautylish, it's 3 that are cream to powder and the 2 others are not. So I'm going to list the 3 that are cream to powder. So on Beautylish, the cream to powders are Fuchsia. That's the name of this one, and it's a Fuchsia matte cream to powder. And of course, that's what's in my crease, and it's basically, she called them by the color, color quality, and it's basically a beautiful blown out fuchsia. It swatches light. When you swatch it, people have kind of wondered, oh, it kind of swatches light, and it does, but actually it's perfect for that because you're going to generally be using this matte in your crease. It builds up beautifully, so you do not want it to lay down heavy in the crease. So it's actually perfect that they created it to be slightly sheer and buildable. Then the next one that's cream to powder is I call it my Fenty Gold, my Fenty trophy wife. This is gold, and it reminds me of, I kind of had Fenty's trophy wife highlighter on my wish list, but now it's off my wish list because I have this instead. Don't worry, Fenty, I have your Galaxy palette, so no worries, no shade, but Mama has to kind of spread the love, so I've got my Fenty Gold here. This is another cream to powder, and it's a metallic finish, and it is amazing. I also have that on my lid. And then the next cream to powder is Star Bronze. This is the Chroma Crystal. It has a much finer glitter than her original Chroma Crystal eyeshadows that are packed in a more of a very creamy metallic base, whereas this is more sheer and buildable, similar to her new top coats. And it has this gorgeous rosy, so it's a rosy bronze with a pink. The glitter is like pink and silver, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And because it's cream to powder, it's going to stay on the eye, more locked down, and not give you that, won't give you any fallout, so they claim. The other ones that are not cream to powder is this first one called Peach Gold, and it's actually a pinky peach color, kind of like a grapefruit color with a gold duochrome shift. It's a duochrome. It is absolutely gorgeous. I have it on my lid. And the next one that is a metallic but is not supposedly a cream to powder is Red Grape, and again it's well described. It is a reddy, plummy, grapey beautifulness. I used it on my outer corner to deepen up my look because it's deep enough to use in the outer corner for halo eyes to deepen up your crease. So these are all the different finishes here for her cream to powder formula. And let's go into the swatches. We'll just go and do a full little live swatch for you. I probably did swatch a little bit along the way with these, but let's just go and watch and enjoy the swatches of this beautifulness. the only glitter in the palette. Now I'm going to compare this with my Super Shock shadow because I want to compare the lockdown quality. It's soft, it's kind of creamy, but it's not spongy like a Super Shock shadow. Just show you here. Oh, isn't that beautiful? See how the glitter's really tiny? Now I'm gonna compare it to a Super Shock shadow. I'm also gonna compare this one here. So this is this. Let's compare this one, the gold one. We're gonna compare. This is NATASHA Denona's gold. And then we're going to compare it to, so that is a cream to powder, okay? Now it's not as spongy. If you can see, the Super Shock shadow is spongier. So you're going to swatch that one right beside it. Now see how it's sheer? It's a bit sheer. It's almost like a top coat, but it's buildable. And you see the glitter in that? I'm going to do another later so you can see that it is a bit buildable. Okay, so now I'm gonna let this dry a bit and I'm gonna then smudge it so you can see the difference. This one doesn't really lock down, so it will smudge more. This one will, this is the Super Shock, it will lock down. So I was comparing it because the first thing I thought of when she spoke about cream to powder is that it does hold onto the eye, but it doesn't do the lockdown quality that a Super Shock shadow does. Super Shocks just lock down in place and they're pretty much immovable, and if you try to smudge them, they pretty much don't really smudge. I believe that with Natasha's, even though you can still smudge them, they still kind of hold on to the eye. They just don't lock down like a Super Shock, but I just wanted to demo it, but I'm gonna let this dry a bit. Now I'm gonna compare with you the old Chroma Crystal formula with the new one. This is the older Chroma Crystal formula. This is what you will see in the Star palette. You see how it looks thick? I can press into it like a Super Shock shadow. See that? I can literally press into it like a Super Shock shadow. So I'm going to swatch this, and I will swatch it next to her crystal, Chroma Crystal, with the cream to powder formula. And this is her older formula. You see how much more pigment it is? It's like in a metallic base. The glitter is much bigger in there. It's a chunkier formula, and it's in a metallic, thick, creamy, buttery metallic base, where this one, the cream to powder, the new one, is more in a thin, fine base, almost like a topper quality, and the glitter is much finer. It's micro crystal glitters, where this is like luscious, and this is like a fine, sweet glitter eyeshadow that's more of a topper. This doesn't lock on the eye like a Super Shock shadow, but it doesn't hold. This doesn't hold on the eye as much as this. However, for me, I've never had a problem. I've never had a problem. I've had hooded eyes. Yes, it transfers a bit, but it just makes my halo eyes look better. Really never had that much problem with fallout. I really don't have a problem with it, and I really don't care. For all you guys who complain about that, this one will probably fit the bill for you, but I love them both. I just love them both, but I do like the impact of her older formula. So if you see here, I'm rubbing, and it doesn't, okay? It pretty much locks down. So now if I do it here, you see how it kind of spreads? It's spreading. See that? So that's the Super Shock, that locked down, and that's NATASHA Denona's. That didn't quite lock down. Sure, it's gonna kind of set on the eye, but it's not gonna do the lockdown quality of a Super Shock shadow. Just saying. I just want to say that. So let us go to the demo. So what I did was first I put the Urban Decay Eden Primer on my lids. Then what I did was I added as a base layer Chamois Nude from Coastal Scents, which only costs like $1.98 or something like that, on my crease lid, my hood, not on the mobile lid itself. I let that be tacky for when I want to put on my lid eyeshadows. Then I went in with Pretty in Pink by Morphe brushes onto my upper crease area or upper hood of my bedroom eyes. I'm gonna call them my bedroom eyes because it's so much nicer than saying hood. I use that as my frame for the luscious Natasha Denona eyeshadow. With a blending brush, I went into Fuchsia, which is the cream to powder matte. I put that into my crease just below the Pretty in Pink, and then I blended that out with a blending brush, a little bit more of a compact blending brush to kind of push it around. It blends out beautifully and just kind of, I guess, blend it out, air it out onto the eye. It is fuchsia, so it's going to give a little bit more of a holiday look, a little bit more of an editorial holiday look. But blending it out, it just kind of diffuses that fuchsia. Then I started with the lid, and this is the fun part. I went in with my gold, my Fenty Trophy Wife Gold, in the inner, on my mobile lid, in the inner side up to the middle of my lid, and then I kind of packed it on. And then I went into Peach Gold. This is not apparently a cream to powder. It's the duochrome, which is a duochrome peachy pink with a golden shift to it. It is gorgeous. It's almost like a grapefruit color with a golden shift, and I put that on my mid lid to my outer lid, and I kind of blended in with the gold. It turned a little bit orange. That's a nice thing, I tell you. Her colors meld together beautifully. And then on the outer corner, I added in the red grape color, and that is a metallic to deepen out the outer crease. And then I kind of blended it into my inner crease and up into my bedroom eyes of a hood. So that's how I created this eye look, and I think it looks gorgeous. I am so happy that I was able to get Natasha Denona's Holiday Edition palette, and I'm really hoping that the Aeris palette will come in on the Sephora Canadian website, because I do have a Sephora credit. I want that blue. I really want that blue. I'm really enjoying her new cream to powder formula. I think it's great that Natasha's listening to her customers and wanting to try and find solutions to perhaps people's complaints of fallout. I do not have that complaint with her chroma crystals. I just absolutely love them, and I don't mind them actually. I don't mind them messing up my palette, because when they're on my eyes, they are just absolutely stupendous. Hard to find that in palettes themselves, and I am so ecstatic that she makes those kind of eyeshadows that are glitter in a metallic, creamy gorgeousness, and that they create that kind of impact. I'm actually disappointed in customers that they made such complaints that she felt the need to do something like this, but I'm glad. She's so amazing that she was willing to listen to her customers. However, I do hope that she does keep both the formulas, and that she uses them in tandem and doesn't doesn't kind of make obsolete this absolutely gorgeous formula here. I want this. I want her to keep still doing these type of glitters. These are all this glitter is still absolutely gorgeous, but it's softer and finer, and I like the lusciousness of her old formula. The other thing about Natasha that's so wonderful about her is that she's really an equal opportunity person. Like, on Instagram, she replies to everybody's comment. When she makes a post, she replies. She's just so amazing that way. She's very personable. And then when you know, people post their of any of her brand, her makeup brand, she likes them, and you don't not have to be a big Instagrammer for her to like them. So she's really, really awesome that way. I swear. Again, she's my glow queen. She's my glow queen. So I am very impressed by this holiday affair, and I am very impressed with NATASHA DENONA herself. I think she's an amazing person, an amazing artist, an amazing teacher, and she just gives beautiful, beautiful things. Oh, and just remember that there is a Sephora sale coming up. In November is a Sephora VIB sale, so this is a good time to pick up something like this. So any of your, like, you have your eye on the luxury brands, but you're not quite sure you want to spend the money, this would be a good time to try them out. Let me know if you plan on picking this up at all. Let me know whether you have your eye on any other, like, glammy type of holiday edition palettes. Like the wonderful Marc Jacobs, the Wild One palette, like the Fenty Beauty Galaxy palette. These are all fun palettes to be using during the holiday season. I will definitely be rocking this any time of the year. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the gorgeous jewel of a palette. I know it sounds a little nerdy, but yes, it is a gorgeous jewel of a palette, and I hope you enjoyed my review of it. And if you did, do give it a thumbs up, like, and share it out into the universe. And don't forget to subscribe to keep up with all my videos, and hit that bell notification button so that you will remember, so that you will be reminded that one of my videos has popped up in the stratosphere. Just remember, rock your own kind of beauty and keep on going, and definitely keep on glowing. I will.